coming up on Retiring Well with Michael Reese.
There's only three things that are tax-free: Roth IRA, municipal bonds, life insurance. That's basically it. And so those are completely tax-free. The key, though, is by moving from 401k to IRA, in Bill's case, we were able to help him put together a portfolio that actually fit his goals to a T.
Which is just completely unacceptable from our perspective. As you're getting that close to retirement, you can't be exposed to that kind of risk.
Retiring Well with Michael Reese, helping you make smart decisions with your money so you can live a better life. Today is the day you can take back control of your money. Retiring Well with Michael Reese, where we believe your best is yet to come.
Welcome to Retiring Well. I'm your host, Michael Reese, and this is one of my favorite shows. I think you're really going to enjoy this. This week we are talking about the 3 reasons that you want to get your money out of your 401k as soon as you can. And I'm not trying to say 401ks are bad. In fact, I think they're incredibly good tools. What I am saying, though, is once you kind of hit 59 and a half, you start to get into your 60s, man, it is time to exit that world as fast as you can. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. Because let's be honest, 401ks, they're built to grow your portfolio so that someday you can retire. They were never intended as a place where you would leave your money after you retired. The intention was always you get to retirement and you're out of there. Well, we're going to give you the 3 reasons you want to be out of there, and we're going to talk a little bit about how you can even exit from your 401k while you're still working in a lot of cases. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. 3 reasons. What's reason number 1? Reason number 1 you want to exit out of that 401k as soon as you can is increased investment options. Now let's talk about that for just a minute. We will go into more detail later in the show, but just as a quick hit, recognize that when you're in a 401k, you have a menu of investment options. It's a limited menu. It's here are the things you can invest in, just those and no others. That's it, nothing else. Well, that menu of investment options, it's built in mind with the thought that you're going to be using this account to grow and accumulate your assets. Well, is retirement all about growth and accumulation? No. Once you retire, it's about a lot of other things like, well, I need to protect, I need to preserve, I need to take income, I still want to grow. It's a lot of other stuff. So you need a lot more investments than just growth and accumulation types of tools. So reason number 1 is by moving from 401k to IRA, and that's a tax-free movement, no tax on that movement, you have access to more investment options. Now what about reason number 2? Reason number 2, tax planning, right? Tax planning. Think about this. When you're in a 401k, it's pre-tax money. You get a tax break on the money going in, the money grows tax deferred, and then what happens when you pull money out at the end? Yeah, you pay tax on the harvest, right? You're saving tax on the seed, you're paying tax on the harvest. Now again, later in the show we're going to dive into this a little bit more, but once you're retired or as you're nearing retirement, you come to the realization pretty fast and say, okay, that's been great so far, but wait a minute, when I'm retired, all this money coming out of this account, taxable, that could be a problem. In fact, leaving that big old taxable account if you're married to a surviving spouse can be a bigger problem. So there are a number of things. Now you can't do this in a 401k, but once you move to an IRA, there are a number of strategies that you can employ to reduce those taxes over your lifetime. Okay, so reason number 2, tax planning. And then what's reason number 3? Hey, it's all about control. It's all about control. I can't tell you how many people have come into the office where they'll sit there and they'll have, well, I've got this one 401k over here from one old job. I've got, oh, look, here's another 401k over here from another old job. And Well, here's another 401k that I've got from my third job. In other words, they got them all over the place, right? And there's no control there. Get things moved into IRAs where it's under your control, where you have the power to make choices, where you control everything. I promise you, you'd be glad you did. Now, I told you, this is a little secret here. There is something out there called a in-service rollover. Here's how it works. For most companies, if you are over the age of 59 and a half, believe it or not, your company will let you roll over portions of your 401k into your own IRA, tax-free and penalty-free. Now, if you're younger than 59 and a half, it doesn't normally work, but if you're over 59 and a half, in-service rollover, that's the phrase you're looking for, and that allows you a lot of times to roll over parts of your 401 to your IRA. Really nice strategy if you can employ it. All right, don't go anywhere, because coming up, we're going to dive into this. It's going to be a great show.
The new Trump tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands on your IRA. Learn how to take advantage of the new law at a dinner evening with your Retiring Well TV hosts from Centennial Wealth Advisory. This is a no-cost, information-only, no-pressure event with a fine dining experience you won't soon forget. Important topics we'll discuss are 3 ways to use the new tax code to move money into tax-free accounts at reduced rates, hidden tax-related pitfalls that most advisors are missing, the importance of managing risk, and the effect of volatility on your retirement savings. The #1 mistake most Americans are making with their retirement accounts. Are you one of them? And much more. Dinner is on us, and there is absolutely no obligation. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that is most convenient for you. Tuesday, March 6th, or Thursday, March 15th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City, or Wednesday, March 7th at the Otsego Club and Resort in Gaylord. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important presentation and learn how the new tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Listen, are you an employee who is participating in a 401k plan? Are you aware that in some cases, you'll be able to roll out of the plan even though you're still working?
Are you tired of the choices you have and possibly the lack of professional help in getting you to your retirement goals? If you're looking for an alternative approach to help you protect your hard-earned retirement savings, then we may be able to help. You may be entitled to an in-service rollout of your 401k plan.
A rollover to a self-directed IRA may be an appropriate solution for you. Contact us at Centennial Wealth Advisory today. Take control of your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory can help. Please call the number on the screen.
Welcome to this week's Chalk Talk. As you know, this week on the show, we're talking about 401ks and why you want to move them to IRAs. Well, here in Chalk Talk, I thought it'd be a good idea to take a step back and just talk about the 3 different tax buckets, the general tax buckets that you have whenever it comes to your investments, because I think it helps really paint the picture as to why moving money to an IRA is a good thing. All right, so let's take a look at our 3 tax buckets. We've got them labeled here: taxable, tax deferred, and our 2 favorite words here on the show, tax-free. We love those 2 words. In any event, all investments, no matter what type of, well, we call all investments liquid investments. Real estate's not liquid, but most liquid investments, things you might have in an IRA and a brokerage account, things like that, they're going to fall into 1 of 3 categories. You've got taxable, tax deferred, tax-free. So let's hit them one by one. Taxable. Anything that you get a 1099 on at the end of the year is taxable. I'll give you some examples. Let's say you have a mutual fund that you own outside of your IRA. You just own it in a personal account. Every year that mutual fund is going to send you a 1099 that says, hey, you owe dividends and tax on this is the dividends and interest you've had, this is capital gains, there's short-term, long-term. There's a variety of taxable things that happen in that mutual fund throughout the year, and you're going to get a 1099 saying you're going to owe tax on it. Bonds, bonds generate interest, that's taxable. Real estate trusts as an investment generate interest, that's taxable. So anything, a bank account is taxable. Anything that you get that 1099 on, it's right there. So when you see taxable, think you're getting a Form 1099 every year in January. You know how it works. What about tax deferred? Now, tax deferred, this is the land of your retirement accounts. I'll put QRP. That stands for Qualified Retirement Plans. NQA stands for Non-Qualified Annuities. In today's world, those are the two biggies in that environment. Now, Qualified Retirement Plan. What is that? Well, it's a 401k, a 403b, 457, an IRA, a simple IRA, a SEP IRA. It might be a profit sharing account. It might be a money purchase account or some type of pension account that you have with the company. Those are all qualified retirement plans, and they're tax deferred. So what does that mean? That means that as the money grows, you don't pay any tax. It also means that you may even get some kind of tax break when you put the money in. Of course, there's no free lunch. When are you going to pay those taxes? Yeah, that's right. You pay them at the end when you pull money out. Non-qualified annuities, kind of the same thing. Insurance companies have some tax breaks when you put money in those accounts. If you put non-IRA money or after-tax money in an annuity, typically that falls in this, it's called a non-qualified annuity, gets tax deferral, just like your IRA. All right, tax-free. What do we got here? Roth, Muni, LI, life insurance. There's only three things that are tax-free: Roth IRA, municipal bonds, life insurance. That's basically it. And so those are completely tax-free. Now, the more money you have, here's how tax planning works. The more money you have, the more you want to move assets to the right. What's really important here is, I'm going to circle this guy right here. A lot of people, you might be one of them, have a big chunk of your money in qualified retirement plans, your 401k, 403b, IRAs, etc. And you have to recognize that at some stage all that money's coming out, and when it does, it's going to be completely taxable. It's going to be taxed at your highest rates. Now, the reason you want to move a 401k to an IRA, you could do a tax-free transfer there, into an IRA, is because once you're in an IRA, over time, you have the ability to transition money from here over here into a Roth IRA. Absolutely. So you move it from a taxable account to a tax-free account, and you could choose the timing in which you do that. And if you do it the right way, you could do it at pretty effective or pretty attractive tax costs. The whole point here is you can't do that out of a 401. You can only do it once it's in IRA status. So get the money in an IRA. From there you can do tax planning, move it to a Roth. The more money you have tax-free, the better off you are with your retirement.
NMC Extended Education is introducing an educational class titled Retirement Secrets, Your Best Is Yet to Come. Our very own Larry Flynn will be the presenter. If you are nearing retirement or already retired, then this class is for you. Many things can threaten your ability to outlive your assets and retire well. The three big things being healthcare, inflation, and taxes. Learn to navigate the critical issues that a retiree must deal with. You'll learn how to plan for a predictable and sustainable income, minimize taxes on your IRAs, maximize your Social Security benefits, and avoid estate planning mistakes. We'll also discuss long-term care concerns and what investments are appropriate in different situations. The cost is only $69. Materials will be provided, and a spouse or guest may attend for free. The class will be held on 2 Wednesday evenings at 6 p.m. for 3 hours, March 14th and March 21st at the NMC Great Lakes campus. Reserve your seats today by calling NMC at 231-995-1700. The class is called Retirement Secrets. Again, that number is 231-995-1700.
Do you have a plan for how to generate income during retirement? Are you going to run out of money? In today's marketplace, retirees have concerns about the volatility of the market. People have concerns that the traditional balanced portfolio strategy that advisors used in the 80s and 90s isn't good enough in today's new normal economy. There are more secure options available for you today, and that's what we specialize in here at Centennial Wealth Advisory. If you don't yet have a plan or would like a second opinion on your retirement income plan, please call us today for a free, no obligation, complete retirement review.
Welcome back. As you know, this week we're talking about IRAs and 401ks and why you want to move your money out of a 401k to an IRA. And I've got a great client story here that really illustrates this very nicely. A couple came in, very nice couple, Bill and Jeannie, and they've been watching the show and they said, we probably should come in for one of those second opinions. And when they came in, Bill was still working, Jeannie had been retired for a while. But one of the things Bill had was, of course, a 401k. Now, Bill and Jeannie, Bill's getting a little bit older. He was 63, and he was telling us, he goes, look, I know I want to retire in the next year or two. And what he had recognized is he says, look, I don't want to be taking as much risk as I used to because, hey, I'm getting ready to retire. I've built up this big nest egg. And he said something really important. He goes, I don't want a market collapse in the next couple of years to completely mess up my ability to retire when I want to. He goes, I want to make sure that I don't care what the market does. I want to retire when I want to retire. And I pretty much got enough money now that I can do it as long as I don't mess this up. Now, by the way, he didn't use the word mess. He might have used a different word, but we'll stick with that. So anyway, he said, hey, here's my 401k. And he was asking us, are there some options within that 401k that he could use to reduce the risk in his overall mix? And so as we went through his menu, because you know how 401ks are, they give you that menu of investment options, one thing really struck out. It was very clear. This was a 401k, like what we see all the time, that was really built for growth. He had all kinds of stock mutual fund options. I mean, he had about 20 of those. He had, big companies and small company options. He had U.S. companies and international companies, emerging markets and developed markets. He had every type of stock option you could ask for. Well, that's not surprising because that's all about growth and accumulation. Well, what else did he have? Well, he had 4 or 5 different bond funds was all. Not many, but just standard types of bond options. Oh, he had one more option. He had a money market option, right? That was it. That was it. And at first glance you say, wow, look, there's 30, 40 funds here you can pick from. You must be able to do something. But the something that you could do with those 30, 40 funds was invest for growth and accumulation. There really weren't hardly any options for him within that 401k. And so when we sat down, we said, well, Bill, what if you did an in-service rollover? You're over the age of 59 and a half. What if we took a big chunk of this 401k, and moved it over to an IRA? Now, you need to check with your company to see if you can do that. You want to ask for an in-service rollover, but if they allow it, you have the ability to take money out of this 401k, move it to an IRA where you can now invest in anything you want. What does anything you want mean? Well, it means pretty much anything you want. Now, you can't invest in life insurance or art collections, collectibles. You can't invest in jewelry and gems and things like that. But pretty much everything else you can put money into. You can put money into real estate or annuities, or you can put money into limited partnerships or options, commodities, alternatives, all kinds of things. The key, though, is by moving from 401k to IRA, in Bill's case, we were able to help him put together a portfolio that actually fit his goals to a T, which we could not do in the 401k because the 401k just didn't give us those choices. We had to get the money out into an IRA, and once it was there, now we have the whole investment universe available to us for the most part. We're able to effectively build a portfolio that matched what he wanted. And it worked out great. Well, wait a minute, what about you? Are you still working or are you retired? Do you have money in a 401k? Are you over the age of 59 and a half? If you said yes to any of that stuff, right, especially the over 59 and a half part, might make some sense to start looking at extracting money out of the 401k, moving it to an IRA, because remember, at the end of the day, it never was meant to be in that 401k forever anyway. The idea was use a 401k to grow it. Once you're retired, get it out to an IRA, and that's where you distribute.
The new Trump tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands on your IRA. Learn how to take advantage of the new law at a dinner evening with your Retiring Well TV hosts from Centennial Wealth Advisory. This is a no-cost, information-only, no-pressure event with a fine dining experience you won't soon forget. Important topics we'll discuss are 3 ways to use the new tax code to move money into tax-free accounts at reduced rates, hidden tax-related pitfalls that most advisors are missing, the importance of managing risk, and the effect of volatility on your retirement savings. The #1 mistake most Americans are making with their retirement accounts. Are you one of them? And much more. Dinner is on us, and there is absolutely no obligation. Call 888-608-5825 to register and choose the date and location that is most convenient for you. Tuesday, March 6th, or Thursday, March 15th at Boone's Long Lake Inn in Traverse City, or Wednesday, March 7th at the Otsego Club and Resort in Gaylord. Presentations start at 6 p.m. and are free to attend with a complimentary gourmet dinner to follow, but seating is limited and fills quickly. Call 888-608-5825 to reserve your seats today. Don't miss this important presentation and learn how the new tax code opens the window to potentially saving thousands. Call 888-608-5825 today.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast? And the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy to understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead. From tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies, we can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Hi, thank you for joining us again. My name is Larry Flynn and this is John Torbett. We're both financial advisors here at Centennial Wealth, and I really like this subject, John, that Mike has been talking about at the show, because how many people think that in their 401k plan they have to wait till they're done working before they can do anything with it, right?
Right. That's been the assumption all along for a lot of people is, well, I got to wait till retirement to do anything because I'm, sort of handcuffed into this 401k plan where they limit you to, 20, 25 different options of what you can invest in. And people aren't always as confident in that, and they feel like, wish I could do something different about that, right? And so that's what we've been talking about on the show is there are options, right?
How many times do we get somebody's maybe have some money invested with us, but they happen to be in their 401k and they're like, hey, can you help me with some of the investment options? You and I get in there and we're like, for especially when somebody wants to be a little conservative and we can't find any options.
Right. I mean, yeah, you're stuck to sort of these different bond funds, which may not be the best place to be right now. And so that's where a lot of times we find there's this, what's called an in-service rollover option. And we're finding more and more companies are extending that and allowing people, while they're working at a lot of times any age, you don't have to be 59 and a half, you don't have to be retired really at any age. You can move your funds out of that 401k plan over into a traditional IRA, and now it opens up all sorts of different investment options.
Yeah, because John, you got a good point. I mean, you know, a 401k is a 401k, but every plan is different.
Right.
How they set it up, right? One 401k will say, well, you have to wait till you're done working.
Yep.
That is the way it used to be, right?
Yeah.
Some are saying, well, you have to wait till you're 59 and a half.
Yeah.
Others say you can do it anytime,
Yeah.
right?
And my thinking behind why they're opening it up more and more is they don't necessarily want that liability anymore. I mean, these companies you're investing your money into this plan, and ultimately they're acting somewhat as the fiduciary and responsible for that. So if they're limiting you to a certain number of investments, and you know, like we said, there's typically not the more conservative options. You have to take on a little more risk than maybe you're comfortable with, and you lose a significant portion. Now they're sort of on the line for that a little bit, and so they're sort of opening it up to say, if you want to transition out, feel free to do so. That means less liability on our end. So.
Well, especially when they don't offer any real conservative options, right? Other than maybe money market, right?
Sure.
So you're in the market, and the market takes a big hit, and they only allowed you maybe 10, 15 choices.
Yeah, I think of like when we evaluated the 2010, like those target dated funds where they'll put a date of when you anticipate retiring, and when they show you that, you assume, okay, well, as it gets close, I'm going to be pretty conservative at that point. But like we looked at for the 2010 target dated funds in 2008, they lost over 30%, just like a lot of the other investments. So that doesn't seem like a conservative option for somebody who may only be a couple of years from retirement.
Right. You would think with a targeted date fund saying 2010 and it's 08, you would think that I'm 2 years away from retirement, that target date fund would have them absolutely conservative, right?
Exactly.
And we found that most of those they did the study on still lost 30-40% in 2008, right?
Right, which is just completely unacceptable from our perspective. As you're getting that close to retirement, you can't be exposed to that kind of risk. But you really are, you're handcuffed. You're tied to those limited options. So that's where you just encourage you to at least look at, see what options are available. And if it is, then great, it opens up some other opportunities.
Yeah. And I think it's real important for our viewers to understand that when they're in a 401k, they've got these limited options, right? When they do this in-service rollover and move it into their IRA, a whole universe just opened up for them, right?
Oh, right.
I mean, as far as what they can invest in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much unlimited for the most part. I mean, you can invest however you want, from as conservative as you want to as aggressive as you want, but it's definitely opened things up.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today. If anything here in the show sparked an interest and you want to talk to us maybe further, please give us a call. Again, thanks for joining us today.